Hello friends, looking at current affairs for 27th April. The important news items picked up from the Hindu newspaper are these 8. We'll look at them in detail. The first one, Aadhaar PAN linkage meant to plug tax leaks, says Supreme Court. So this is a case before the Supreme Court which has been filed questioning the constitutionality of section 139 AA, which has been inserted into the Income Tax Act by the present Finance Act, which was passed for passage of the budget. So while the budget was being passed, this amendment was put in. So this is being challenged in the Supreme Court and the government is arguing. And this section 139 AA specifically is regarding Aadhaar being linked to PAN. For issuing fresh PANs now, Aadhaar linkage would be mandatory. Even for existing PAN, Aadhaar linkage is required. So the Supreme Court has stated that this has been made mandatory to plug tax loopholes. So people don't pay taxes, and there are many multiple fake PANs also, which the government has also argued is the reason why Aadhaar linkage is being brought in. But the petitioner is saying that the Aadhaar, what is the aspect of Aadhaar, how much data privacy as such is ensured through Aadhaar is a question, and there are multiple Aadhaars too which are issued. So then what is the difference between PAN? Because PAN also come up, fake PANs also come up, and there are fake Aadhaars as well. But then the bench has said that this is a particular action which has been taken by the legislature. So this is the legislative mandate of the parliament. It is not the function, it's not the government. The executive is not questioned here. So that is where the court has stated that government had given assurances, the executive had given assurances that Aadhaar would not be made mandatory, but this has been done by the legislature. So presently, this is the stand of the Supreme Court on this matter. It has approved the PAN linkage with Aadhaar. So this is the whole history. It's been going on since 2013. So in September 2013, Supreme Court had stated that Aadhaar cannot be made mandatory for schemes. So for welfare schemes, you cannot make it mandatory. So this is there. There should not be any exclusion as such because there is no Aadhaar provided by the beneficiary. So this was the 2013 ruling. In 2014 also, it's reiterated this that nobody should be deprived. 2015. Then Aadhaar was allowed to be used for PDS and LPG distribution linkage, again stating that it cannot be mandatory. In 2015, it gave its permission for more schemes to be added to this. We have had the Aadhaar Act also been passed now in 2016. And recently too, in March 2017, the Supreme Court had stated that Aadhaar linkage for welfare schemes cannot be mandatory, but for non-welfare purposes, like for filing tax returns, like present PAN card case, or opening bank accounts, etc., Aadhaar can be made mandatory. So that was the stand now, and presently too it has upheld this amendment which has been done to the Income Tax Act to make PAN card Aadhaar linkage mandatory. Next is a shrinking home for endemic birds. So this is regarding these birds endemic to Western Ghats. It has been shown by a study now that the IUCN, International Union for Conservation of Nature, which provides the red list also, which categorizes species under both flora and fauna under categories like endangered, critically endangered, vulnerable, etc. So it has been found that the bird species distribution, which was estimated by IUCN, is not correct. 17 of the 18 bird species as such studied, it was seen that the distribution was smaller, means there is lesser habitat than was estimated by IUCN. So in such a case, when IUCN was classifying them as least concern, the example given of Malabar grey hornbill, it was categorized as least concern. It actually comes under near threatened category with this study. And also the Nilgai pilpit. So it is endangered. It was declared as vulnerable by IUCN. So this is a study coming forth on endemic birds in Western Ghats. The next is High Court spells out steps to stop pollution in Dal Lake. So the Jammu and Kashmir High Court has given its order on Dal Lake, on preservation of Dal Lake. So the conservation here requires, first of all, the sewage treatment plants. So those which are not functioning effectively should be upgraded. So this is one order which has been put forth. Second, it says that even NGOs, other organizations can be roped in for their technical experience for conservation measures here, and also install CCTV cameras to strengthen the law enforcement here that pollution does not take place. The residents who are staying in this region, they have to be rehabilitated. So these steps need to be taken. Even guidance from WWF, World Wildlife Fund, can be taken as such on even sustainable water management near this Dal Lake. So these are the points which have been put forth by the Supreme Court coming down on the government, that steps need to be taken, because Dal Lake, you can see the conservation is required. The pollution here actually results in this sewage which is put forth into the lake through the residents also, and even industrial pollutants. They result in the organic component in the water increasing, which results in these algae also developing, and this is the status of Dal Lake now. Even it has said that school and college students can also be asked to take part in community service on cleaning the environment in and around the lake. So this is regarding the Dal Lake. Next is Supreme Court seeks law to regulate NGO funds. So Supreme Court is asking the government to bring out a law. What it has brought out recently were regulations. So NGOs are being regulated now because it has come out through the CBI records also. It had been filed in front of the Supreme Court that number of NGOs filing returns is quite low. Number of NGOs paying taxes is also quite low. So here it is said that NGOs regulation is not there. There are not even laws available in various states to bring in transparency, to ensure that NGOs are mandated to file returns. So that is why there is need to regulate them. Even in New Delhi, amongst the union territories, New Delhi has the highest number of registered NGOs, but then none of these organizations submit their income tax returns. So this is the status now. UP, amongst the states, UP has the highest number of NGOs overall too. So now the Supreme Court, the case which is there before it is actually a case on this Anna Hazare's NGO, Hind Swaraj Trust. So a petition has been filed on the alleged misuse of funds by Anna Hazare's NGO. So the Supreme Court has expanded the scope of this to include all NGOs, and it is looking into this matter. The government had filed before it, had put before the Supreme Court the guidelines which it has framed. So these have been framed by the Union Rural Development Ministry. So guidelines for accreditation of NGOs have been framed. But what the news presently is that Supreme Court is saying that guidelines will not be sufficient. There is a need to have a complete law on regulation of NGOs through the legislature, not guidelines through the executive. Then another matter is regarding against various NGOs. FIRs have also been filed by CAPAT. So CAPAT stands for Council for Advancement of People's Action in Rural Technology. So this is an organization. It's a society registered under Societies Registration Act. It comes under Rural Development Ministry. So this provides funding to various NGOs for rural development. So this CAPAT has also seen that various NGOs have been swindling government funds. They are misusing them. So that is why it has filed FIRs against these NGOs too. And Rural Development Ministry itself has framed these accreditation guidelines. So you can see the manner in which NGOs which are recipient of grants, how should they maintain the accounts, procedure for audit, etc. has been stated in these guidelines. But present news is that Supreme Court is saying that government should frame a statutory law. Then next is Sebi to grant one license to brokers clearing members. So Sebi has granted the unified license. We have spoken about this quite often now. So the commodities market and the equity market, for both the brokers can have a single unified license, because even the regulator, as we have seen, Forward Market Commission, the regulator for the commodity derivative market, has been merged with Sebi. So that is why this unified license has now been provided. So this is one step taken. Also, it was announced by the Finance Minister in his budget speech for 2017-18. And also another regulation which has been brought in is on participatory notes, P notes. So this also we discussed recently that Sebi board meeting would take place, and these would be the steps taken. So this news is that these steps have been taken. So on P notes too, now the regulation has been brought in that it would not be allowed that residents and non-resident Indians make investments in this, because it is seen that the government has also asked Sebi to take action here, because it is seen that the black money is routed back into the country through P notes. So this is there. Also P note investments coming from these tax havens to like Mauritius, Singapore, Cyprus, their rules have been tightened. So it is feared now it may come from various other countries like US, France and Netherlands. But P notes regulation, one step which has been taken is this, that residents as well as non-resident Indians cannot make investments through P notes. participatory notes. Also, they're called offshore derivative instruments. P notes also, a few days back, we discussed in detail what are those. So the identity of the investor is not known. Foreign institutional investments, those organizations invest in the equity market, but who are investing in these are not known. So the source does not come to be known through these participatory notes. And another point which is put forth is that the significance of P notes overall has also reduced, because overall FPI, foreign portfolio investments, FII, FPI means the same. Foreign institutional investment and foreign portfolio investment mean the same. FDI is different. So FPI investments overall, the amount of P notes, percentage overall of P notes was 55.7% in June 2007, which presently has come down to just 6.7% in December 2016. The next news item is a data glove for the speech disabled. So this is a data glove which has been built by an Indian from IIT Madras, Nayan Bhatt. So this has won the Budding Innovators Award too by Delhi-based National Research Development Corporation. So what this data glove does is it measures the individual joint angle. So this is the glove. It has these sensors located on it, and this is connected to a microchip. So it gives the data to that. So what happens is the hand motion is studied. So in case of Parkinson's disease, the severity of the disease is understood by shaking. So how much is the shaking? So that assessment can be done through this data glove. Also, another application can be in animation and other industries as such too. A third important application is on speech-related disability, that the signs which are made by this data glove that can be understood, and the words can be converted to words, and the speech can be spoken out too as such through a speaker. Then the next news item is finally NASA's super balloon lifts off to collect near space data. So this the stadium-sized pressure balloon, which was planned to be launched by NASA, and we have seen because of weather conditions too, it was delayed. Now it has finally been launched. So this balloon has been designed to detect ultra-high energy cosmic particles which come from beyond our galaxy. The Milky Way, they come and penetrate into the Earth's atmosphere. So what is the source of these particles? Are they coming from black holes? Are they coming from fast spinning stars? So to understand them, this balloon has been launched from Wanaka. This is in Wanaka in New Zealand. So this is the place from where it has been launched. It will collect data. It is at 34 kilometers above the Earth's surface, and it will collect data. So this is the super balloon. The last news item is artificial worm experiment delivers hope. So this is an artificial worm experiment which has been done by scientists, in which synthetic amniotic fluid has been filled up in a clear plastic sac, and in that the fetus is being allowed to grow. So the umbilical cord is attached via tubes to a machine. So it will remove carbon dioxide from the blood, put in oxygen, and it will pass through. There are no mechanical pumps used. The heart of the fetus itself is the one which will result in this pumping. So this is the experiment which has been done on lamb. So if this has turned successful now. So if permission is given and human trials are done and it turns successful, means the preterm babies which are born, they can also be incubated into this synthetic amniotic fluid, and then it can grow, and then the incubation as such, artificial womb can be possible. So this is the whole experiment which has been done and shows hope that artificial womb can be possible. So these are the news items. Thank you.